Audio.etc is proudly supported by Auto Sound and Security. Good morning, Audio.etc lights. How are you all doing? I hope you've had a good sleep since yesterday. You guys were asking what Grant is doing in the Outlander. Just a real quick point the camera at him, get him to say some less profanic words than usual, and ask him what he's doing.
I'm good.
So Grant, what are you doing on this Outlander, just so that they're up with the speed check?
Hi, folks.
Hi, folks.
You're talking.
I'm just going to zoom in on Grant's.
You're talking to the real installer now.
Oh, the real installer. Oh wait, is that a crab? I think I see a crab.
Crab. Oh, can you get it? You gotta hook it out. Oh, actually, we could roast it.
Go on. So what stereo are you doing?
Sony double din with screen.
Where is it?
Taking out all of the Jap shit.
Is it the CD one or the non-CD?
Oh, you're asking too many questions now. I think it's non-CD.
So it's just a stereo and you're hooking up a camera, is it? Like there's a...
Yeah, there was an aftermarket camera connected to all of that there.
Oh shoot. He's already taken a bunch of stuff out.
That, and then the other bit around there.
Oh yeah, good old Pioneer Cara's area. A lot of cars do come in with reversing cameras, so we have to hook up to them a lot. What was that little interface thing you had? Was that a 12 volt to 6 volt reducer or something?
I think so. I wasn't gonna.
There was one already in there. Okay.
A little metal box.
No steering wheel controls. Yeah, it's a pretty simple job, guys, but a couple of you were asking about it, so I thought I'd just fill you in on it. It's a Sony XAV V631BT, so mechless, no CD player, basically just, you know, it's an AV stereo that does Bluetooth, USB, auxiliary, reversing camera input, and that's about it. There's no steering wheel controls, so it's pretty simple. Does it? Yeah, so these Outlanders, like there is a version of them you guys may have seen that has a full Rockford Fosgate factory system in it with a factory 10-inch subwoofer in the boot. Actually it's a 12-inch. And looks like they come pre-wired for it, but this version is the non-Rockford system. But you know if it is because they usually have either Rockford Fosgate on their faceplate for the stereo, or I think, is it usually on the tweeter or the woofer where they have it? Can't remember. In fact, we've got a couple of Outlander kits over here. There's one. That was a Rockford Fosgate one that we took out. You can see just there, it's got a Rockford Fosgate engine on it. But anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening with that. I'll try and get a little bit of footage of it when it's done and finished. But you guys are wondering where I'm at on the legacies. So as you saw, first thing I did when I got in this morning was I tried to power through making the baffles for the front door woofers. And they should be pretty much done by now, actually. Oh yeah, they look dry. Just got them drying under the old heat lamp. Sweet. So, shape-wise, what we got going on, from above, actually it's going to be real hard to see, isn't it? So we got the bottom piece, the total outer shape there, that matches the factory pod, and it's going to mount with the 3 factory screw holes, the 10 gauge ones. And then we've got 4 screw holes here for some 8 gauge PKs to go through the speaker, through all of this wood, and then into the metal of the door. So it's going to be held together really well. I actually drill these holes out to 4mm holes, so the screws that go through the speaker aren't actually going to bite into this. They're just going to slot through and then bite into the metal of the door, and that's going to compress it all and sandwich it. And yeah, these are PVA'd and brad nailed together. You can kind of see a brad nail just there. So they're just still drying a wee bit at the moment. I won't put them in just yet. But while that's been drying, I have been doing the mid-ranges. Haven't got them on the car yet, but here's what I've got going on. So I mounted the little 3-inch mids to the little pods for the doors. Now, I did want to mount it from behind because that's the way the factory one is, and I don't know how close to the door car this is going to come. But unfortunately, these just would not fit in backwards. The total diameter of the basket was too big to fit in there. I can't remember, because not long ago I did a set of 165AS3, which is the Access Series 3-inch, Access Series 3-way components into one of these cars. And I can't remember if I put the mid-range in the back of this or on the front. I feel like I put it in the back. Maybe it's got a smaller overall basket size. I can't remember. Actually, no, I thought it was bigger because they made it out of a cheaper material, so it had to be bigger, whereas this is cast metal, so it doesn't have to be as big. I can't remember. But anyway, it's proud mounted at the moment, just with the 4 screws going through the plastic. If that becomes an issue getting the door card back on and it hits on this or something like that, I will have to take it off and try and find a way to mount it in the back of there. But if I do that, chances are it's only going to go into that first level. See how there's kind of 2 levels there? It will only go in this far, not all the way. But I just love how Focal and actually just mainly for these mids, I love how these come with a layer of foam already on the underside of the speaker, so that you don't have to do any gasketing or anything like that. It's got a nice soft connection to the plastic, so no rattling. So I've done this one and I've done the one for the other side as well. These are pretty much ready to go on the door, but I can't do that yet because to put the wires in, this is something interesting about these. They actually have little set screw fitments for the wires. You can see just there, that one there's the positive input, and there's a little flathead screw there. You shove the wire in that hole and the negative in that one. So I'm going to put the wires in before I can put it on there. But yeah, that's done. And I was just working on the tweeter mount, and I think I've worked out what I want to do. So this is the factory tweeter mount, and the factory tweeter mounts with just 3 screws in the back of it, but not sure how I want to do this. Well, I think I've figured it out. I'm going to have to use the little cup pod that comes with the Focals, because the tweeter itself on its own has no way of fastening it to anything apart from putting glue behind it, but I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this cup pod thing onto that, secure that to there, and then I can mount the tweeter in it the proper way. But for it to sit flat, I'm going to have to file off, come on, I know it's hard to focus because it's such a small thing. I'm going to have to file this layer down just a wee bit so that it can sit flat on there. Then I'm going to use, where is it? One of these, which is like kind of, I don't know, it's a piece of stainless steel sort of stuff, and these normally you would put behind a panel. You kind of put it like that and put a screw through it. There's some little machine screws in there which I'm going to use. You guys will see, I'll show you once I've got it made up, but I just wanted to explain to you. I'm going to file this thing down first, and then mount the cup to it, and then the tweeter. Oh, good song. I feel it in my toe. So I'll just do that now actually. There we go. Now the cup will mount nice and flat on there. Cool. Now this is the left hand one. Oh yeah, cool. Alright, I'll go get the screw and nut thingamajig. Okay. Hopefully this little screw is long enough. Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool. What I did was I cut the wings coming off these things off so that they're not sticking at the back. And what I can do now is just sort of mount that, oh, you can't see, in the back of there. So if I just line that up like that, a screwdriver, that works good. There we go, mounted. Let's focus. there, and you can see that. There's a bit of fluff left over. Cool, one thing I need to do now is drill a hole through there because that's where the wire is going to go. So I can do that real quick and mount the other one. Okay, now fun part, put the tweeter in the pod. The way these work is this grill on the front here, this has to come off carefully. It'd be probably easier if I wasn't trying to clutch 3 things at once. It just carefully, there we go, removes like so. There we go. And now, get the wire end, feed it through holes that I just made for it to go through this way actually. Put the wire through the hole. Now, how easy these go in is usually like 50-50 for me. Sometimes it's super easy, sometimes it's real hard. Here he is. So you just have to sort of push it in that way. Just gonna make sure it sort of clicks, and then you rotate it. There we go, there's a click. Just want to be careful when you're pushing down on it though. You don't want to push down on the actual dome, you want to try and push on the edge of it. Because the thing is, if it's not all the way in, you won't be able to do this thing here where you turn it. Was that working? Oh yes, I did get it all the way in, sweet. So now, yeah, then you put that key in those 2 slots and twist it within the cup and it locks in. And then the grill just press fits back over top. There we go, done. That's one. Let me get the other one. Okay, next one through here. The grill off. Sometimes you can get under it with a screwdriver if it helps, but just be very careful. Try to slot it in square, and then just, there's one. Oh, sometimes one side will want to go in. There we go, now it's all the way in. Because if it's not all the way in, it's not going to turn and lock. There we go. You guys see that? Turn and lock. Done. Cool, there's my 2 tweeter pods. I can actually go and mount these ones to the car now, and I think we're probably at the stage where I can start wiring up all the speakers and getting the door cards back together. Okay, so that's the tweeter up. This is going to go here, but I need to put the woofer in first, so let me go get that. Okay, so one thing I think I didn't point out before is that you'll see that these baffles are asymmetric. I intentionally left a raised section on both of them. On the opposite side there you can see one side is higher than the other, this piece here, so that when this goes on here, the mid-range has something to mount to, because there's 2 feet go up the top there. Let me try to zoom in. So this is going to go here, the mid-range goes there, and then that is going to have something to mount to, hopefully. And so there's a left and a right where the raised sections are on opposite sides to one another. So this is the left one. But before I put this on, I need to put some foam tape on both sides, so it's a nice soft connection. Actually, I only need to put foam tape on one side. I only need to put foam tape on the back side, because on the front, I'm going to use one of these nice foam gaskets that come with Focal speakers. These things are real nice, and they just match the shape of the woofer already. In fact, you'll be able to see that fits perfectly on there. Sweet, so I just need to put tape on the back of here. Okay, there we go. I got foam tape all the way around the back of it, even on the corners where the screws are going. Not here or here though, because on the door, those parts don't actually come in contact with anything, so there's no need to put anything there. And so now I've got 3 of these nice big 10 gauge screws, which are gonna match the gauge of the factory ones. Go through these holes here. 1, 2, 3, like that, and those are going to screw into these 3 factory points. 1, 2, 3. 1. Now I just need to make sure that these 4 screw holes where the screws for the speaker are going to go do actually go all the way through the middle. So I'm just going to test fit all of these. Good. Okay, that's all good. Next step, put some crimps on these wires and put the woofer in. There we go, crimps. So now, the speaker now, I'm going to have to check and see if these are going to go on, because I've got a feeling these nice big fat Focal terminals aren't going to want to go in here, but I'll give it a go. Oh no, we might be right. Yep, there's the positive. And this is why the Focal terminals are so good. I can push that on with a lot of force because they're very tight. I want them to be tight, but they don't just buckle under the pressure of me pushing it on. That's exactly what you would get with a lot of the other, you know, more mainstream brands like Pioneer, Sony, Alpine, Kenwood, like anyone, Focal, and Rockford Fosgate are okay. Their terminals are a wee bit thinner, but Focal so far are the best speaker terminals I've ever seen on a speaker. They're super thick and strong. Alright, so now, oh, I forgot to put this thing on. I wonder if I can get this over the front of it without ripping it. Oh yes, I can. Look at that. Brilliant. Because I forgot. So now, oh, that's a wee bit small. Oh, I should be right. Let's put the woofer in. This plastic film thing, should I take that off? No, I'm going to leave it on the back. Oh, and I've just realised there's something I've forgotten to do. Something I said I was going to do last video is get one of these bits of sticky foam and stick it on this piece of metal which is in here near the glass, just so that in the event of it coming close, it'll brush by it with the foam rather than anything else. There we go. I'll try and show you guys. There we go, you can see it. So that piece of metal that's in there, which is coming out here, I think what it is it's actually the clamp that holds the window. Just had a sharp edge on it, so I just put some foam over it, just so that in the event of it ever coming close to the back of the speaker, it's going to be nice and soft on it. But I have already looked from above and it's nice and far away from this. But it's just a precautionary thing I like to do. Okay, now this can go in. They do come with them. Okay, so these grey foam things that I got were actually off a different set of Focal speakers. I just had a big pile of them, but they are for a slightly smaller speaker, whereas these black ones actually come with the speakers. They're bigger and they fit better. There we go. That sits better. Alright, let's put this in. Okay, and I've got these big 2-inch 8-gauge screws which are going to go through the speaker, both layers of wood and the metal, and it's going to be screwed together really, really tightly. Nice big sandwich. 1, 2, 3. I have a fourth one around here somewhere. Where is it? Just rotate this so that it's nice and vertical. There we go. There we go. That's the woofer done. So what I can do now is get the mid-range and mount that up. I wonder if maybe I should do the solder connection for this tweeter first, or should I just use crimps? No, I'm just going to use solder. I'm going to solder the tweeter wire to one of these wires. It doesn't matter which of these two wires I solder it to as of yet, because I have not allocated either of them to be tweeter or mid-range, and I'll just test what they are at the crossover end. Cool, I'll do that first. There we go, got the solder connection done, wires all loomed up. Now the mid-range. So now this goes here. How much wire do I need? Connections. There, probably about that much wire, a bit more. And what I might do is I'm actually going to tin these. I'm going to put some solder on them, because then the set screw connections just are a lot better. It lasts longer. Alright, now these little connections under here, I need to loosen them off. Where's the thing? There, loosen that off. And this one. Alright, so those are just a wee bit long for what they need to be. Let's shorten them. Positive, put the positive in, screwdriver. What do I do with it? What do I do with my screwdriver? I just had it. There we go. Yeah, 2 factory screws holding this in. And this one. Cool, and now this lines up nicely with that, and I can just put a nice self-tapping PK into there. There we go. Done. That little extension mount worked really well. Sweet. Speakers are all done. I'm just gonna check that I get sound out of all of these. Okay. Woofer. And this will be a good polarity check as well. Yep. Polarity is correct. Mid-range. Polarity is correct. And we're going. And tweeter. Yep, she goes. The long one is the tweeter. Cool. Let's put a frequency on the mid bass. That works. Okay, cool. So so passenger's door is done, mid bass is good and going, mid range is good and going. I feel like they built this kind of wrong, like the angle is wrong. Like you can see here, this is the left door, focus. I feel like this should be leaning back and up that way rather than down and forwards that way. I don't know why that is, but yeah, anyway. It's definitely the left-hand one. This one wouldn't work on that side anyway because of the whole, this screw being higher than that one. This is definitely the right one, but I just don't know why it's leaning forward, like leaning forward that way and forward that way. I feel like it should be the opposite direction. So this is all back together now and done. I'll take a picture and then the next step is putting the door card on, and if everything's good, then I can proceed with doing the driver's door. Okay, so I'm going to put the door card on, but I'm not going to plug this stuff in just yet because I want to make sure it's all going to work first. It's those ones. Plugs are just getting in the way. Seems like everything is lining up good. The tweed at the the mid-range isn't hitting on the door from what I can tell. It's just slightly pushing out this way. I'm not sure why, but I can't really tell what it's. I wonder if it's these. Man, they didn't quite cut this hole right. It's not exactly center. I'm just gonna have to move this grill over just a bit because they haven't cut it center, and it's just a bit close to this mid-range. Not too happy with it. There we go. I extend this hole out a wee bit more to the right and above and below it, so it's a wee bit bigger now, which allows for the surround of the woofer to be completely exposed and not behind anything. And I'm just going to have the grill, that's where it was, it's just going to be over ever so slightly, just a wee bit to the right, centered over the speaker since they didn't get right in the first place. And yes, it will leave a slight crease there from where it was, but it's better than having it way off to the left here. And that crease will probably go away after time. Yeah, they just didn't get the hole in the right place to begin with, so not much I can do about that. There we go, I got the grill back on. You can see where it's shifted from, and I put some different screws in because these ones that were in there were just a wee bit long and they were coming real close to the basket of the speaker, and I didn't like that, so I put some slightly shorter blunt end ones in them where they, blunt as in they don't have the point on them, they just sort of stop. So yeah, this is all back together, that's lined up, everything's popped on, good to go. So I'm going to plug the stuff in and screw the door card back together, and then this door will officially be done, finally. Only 3 days later. Plug that in. Just before it goes away, guys, I'll show you how Grant's little Outlander job went. Let's hop in here, and the start-stop button. Oh, this isn't a start-stop, it's one of those plastic key jobs. Okay, now, see if I can focus. Oh yeah, that's cool. There. Looks good. Reverse. Actually, we don't need to go into reverse, we can just click rear camera. And there we go, you can see what that's actually worked really well. Nice work, Grant. And then if I go home, turn the ignition on, and put it in reverse. Nice. Just thought I'd show you guys that before it took off, because I know a couple of you were asking about it. But it really was quite a simple job. There we go. Done? No, just the door.
Oh, just the door?
Just the door's done.
How many more doors have you got to go?
2, plus all of this.
How are you doing in here?
Car audio. Maybe you weren't aware that this is what I do almost every day.
Oh, rubbish. You don't put what the system.
every now and again. Right, there we go. The passenger's door is back together. Fucking buzzer. Front doors, speakers are officially done. Finally. Now I can move on to the crossover and amplifier part of the job. And then, yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. Okay, so moving on to the amplifier and crossover side of things now. What I want to do is build a floor for these to sit on, like a piece of wood to fill out this whole gap, and then I can arrange them how I want. And I think I might build a rear sort of kick wall on the back of it as well, so that any feet coming up sort of in this way aren't going to hit it. And one thing you may have noticed that I've changed from the other day is, you know how I was talking about these vent extension things? Well, there weren't any over on the right hand side to begin with, so I thought, well, I might as well put them over that side then, and then I can do what I want over this side. That's probably the way to do things, I think. And I can arrange these how I want. So I'm probably, I think, going to have it set up something along the lines of this, with the crossovers at the right hand end here, and then the amplifier smack in the middle there. These wires will come out and go straight into the crossovers. I've been playing around with it, and this, I know it looks a bit funky, but this is so far the cleanest sort of configuration I can think of. I definitely want the amplifier's power and speaker wires to be at this end, because that's where they all come out, and I want the power to come down here, and then the RCAs are going to come straight out of there and down to that side of the amp. So that's how I want the amplifier to be arranged. And if I'm doing the speaker wires at this end, it doesn't make any sense to have these wires go all the way around to the crossovers at that end, I don't think. Especially not when all the speaker wires are already down here. So I think this is the way I'm going to do it, because I mean I could go back to my original plan, which was to sort of be like more like this, but that is a wider setup, and it means I can't have this mat go all the way down. So I think I will do it this way. So what I'm going to do is make up a floor for these to sit on, and a back wall, paint it, and then start arranging things on it, start screwing them down. I'm going to fasten the floor to the factory Macintosh amp mounting lugs down here, and yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. I can see that my DSLR battery now is flashing red, so that needs a charge. Fortunately I brought the charger with me, and in the meantime I'll use the GoPro and do a great big long time lapse of me working in this area, and hopefully I can get some work done. Cool. By the way, check out what Grant's working on. An old Leaf. I can't even really read it. 911 SC. Is this the hairdryer model? Turbo?
No, I don't think so.
Don't think so. What are you doing to it? Just a stereo, aren't you? Old Pioneer CD player. Probably do with some new speakers as well. Those Explodes over there look pretty old.
Yeah.
In fact, did it have a component? Oh, no, it doesn't have components, just coaxes. I think I've done Rockford Fosgate primes in these before, because the black grills look quite good in the all black interior. In fact, I'm sure I've done quite a few of these Porsches, because he does Montana, so they'd run good off the unit. Alright, cool. Time lapse. Okay guys, sorry I didn't realise the time lapse had stopped. I had my earmuffs on and was just working and trying to get as much done as I could. But anyway, here's where I'm at. Pardon me. So I have made up a floor panel with a rear wall, and it is going to bolt into the factory Macintosh mounting points, which are there and there. And I've been just playing around with the layout a wee bit, and I think I'm settled on this layout here. This is how I want to do it. I know it looks like a hugely inefficient way of use of space, but like the more efficient you make it, it's one of those awkward situations where the parts themselves are perfect for filling in this space and have a bit of spare, but then there's no room for wires. There's no real nice way to have it where it's efficient for wires and, you know, mounting, like whether it's turned or anything like that, just because they're all such a perfect funny shape. Ultimately I've come up with this method that I'm happiest with. At least it's a bit symmetrical, so be able to plug straight in there. The The front right wires for the front right door are there. They'll go into that crossover. Front right wires coming out of the amp here are going to solder onto one of these wires which I've just ran, which goes through to this piece here, straight into the crossover. And then that there, one of them here is the rear right speaker wire. And the only wire I haven't run yet is the rear left. And then there's going to be room, at least for us, the RCAs to bundle up there as well, because there's going to be a bit of excess, all the connections anyway. But let me show you what this board is basically looking like. Get these off, get the amp off here. Fits pretty perfectly, so getting off, there we go. Because this car didn't factory have Macintosh mounts under there are kind of just loose and sliding around. They should really be glued down, but they're not. But having that there anyway is going to make it impossible to rip the stuff out, because this will be bolted to it and the carpet will be in between. You're not going to be able to just rip it out. So at the moment it's just like we've got the board, funny shape with the back wall, and then underneath I've just got two pieces of back strap making some feet which go down, and then the nuts are going to go onto those lugs there. Nuts go through the holes and it secures. So this is pretty much ready to be painted now, so I'm going to do that. And then while that is drying, I might work on a ground, because in the meantime Grant was helping me and he cleared all the crap off the windscreen, and he also ran a power wire through, an 8-gauge power wire, and I think he did a fuse holder. Oh yeah, cool, he's already got it there for me. Fuse holder is down there. Oh, okay, he cable tied it. That's one way to do it. I probably would have made a bracket, but okay. I personally probably would have made a bracket which was mounted on the side of here and came out and allowed it to just sit here nicely, but it's fine, he's already done it. And then it just goes through the front grommet there. So, painting this thing. Hopefully there's enough paint in here to do this. There we go, only needs the one coat. I was thinking I might put some carpet on the back side of here, just maybe. Since I got time, I found some carpet I'm going to use. I'm just going to carpet just this back wall, which is going to be where the people's feet are, just for a bit of fun. Need to trim this edge. There we go, painted black, and then on the back wall, nice piece of carpet. Just wraps around a tiny bit. So let's put this in the car now. Am I going to have to take this back out? Is the question. Is this going to have to come back out? Still have to run the wire for the rear right here and do a ground and the RCAs. Yeah, no, I'm not going to put it in just yet. I need to do the RCAs and everything else first, because this is going to hold all the carpet around it down, and it's easier to work if I can lift it up. So I won't put it in just yet. I can go there. So what I really need to do now, I could do a ground. I need to find a place to ground it. Bolt holes under here, sometimes there are. Actually, there's a really good grounding bolt just there that I could use. What does that go to? There's none on top of here. I think I might use that. By the way, something else I did, this loom which is wrapped in black, the factory loom, that was all sitting in front of these bits of metal with those sort of clippy things, but I put it all in behind so that it will sit better. I tucked it all in behind those flaps since it was way too far forward, and it gave me a bit more depth to work with. So I'm going to use this bolt here for my factory ground. I'm just going to undo it, shave up the metal, take off the paint around it, and then put my ground on it. Sweet. There we go. Okay, there's my ground done. Okay, I'm about ready to put the amp mounting board in. I've done my ground, I did my speaker wire for the rear right, which is just popping out here for me to run some other time. Got the power wire through the place it needs to be, everything is done. I've put duct tape over the ends of these heater vents so that no hot air out of the air conditioning or anything can come out and be blowing on the amp. You don't want that. So yeah, it's good to go. Let's put that board in. I'm just gonna make sure I get, there's definitely nothing else under it. This all needs to be down there. I'm thinking what I might do, because even though this is loose, I was thinking it's not going to matter because the whole point of it is just that you can't rip it out of the car. There's something under the carpet to stop that. But I'm thinking I might try and lift the carpet completely up, put some RTV under the mounting plate to kind of do it, you know, to kind of secure it. There we go. Actually, that should do the trick. There's that ground wire, that speaker wire. Cool. Now that's going to dry overnight, and it hopefully will glue to the mount that's on the bottom of here. So what I can look at doing now is actually putting the crossovers on here and wiring them up. Almost there, almost there. I just had a thought. If the seat doesn't clear this and sit down on there, I'm going to flip out, because that's a lot of work to have to redo. Ugh. But anyway, I'm getting the beckoning call from the fiance. She wants me to come home. It's 7:30. I stayed late tonight to try and get a bit more work done, and because I'm not going to be here Friday afternoon, so I wanted to make up for some of that and get as much work on this Legacy done as I can. But here's where I'm at. I'm really happy with how it's looking. Let's clear that out of the way. It's looking really nice. Got the wires all cable tied, everything's neat and done. Amp's not tuned or anything yet. It's not hooked up to power, but I've got obviously the power wires and the remote wire, all the speaker wires. This end's all done. And then I got the RCAs and the remote wire run up to the hole. So everything down here is pretty much done except for tuning. What I do want to do though, I'm thinking I probably should test fit that chair, eh? Yeah. So today was meant to be the last day working on it. The customer hasn't called us, he hasn't showed up. So presumably that means he's happy just to wait for a call from us, although the phone number we've got from him isn't working, so I'm not sure what we're going to do there. But long story short, fortunately the customer hasn't shown up, and I'm not going to get to work on it tomorrow. Tomorrow I've got another different job, interesting job for you, that Toyota Estima. Oh, by the way guys, sorry about the late upload for yesterday's video. Last night my computer and my editing hard drive was just taking a massive dump on me, and like nothing was working. It was just going super slow, and I started trying to tackle the editing side of things as soon as I got home, like at 6 o'clock, and I literally didn't start properly editing the video, like get it all working, until about 10 o'clock at night. So it was a mission. But anyway, I need to test fit this chair really, don't I? Need to clear some of this stuff out of here. Alrighty, let's find out. Oh, have I made a massive boo-boo? Have I fucked up? I hope not. I'm gonna put this thing over top. Usually use a rag or something, but this will work. I'm just gonna put that, actually no, it's too big. The anti-scratch device. Just bundle all that in there. I'm gonna get the chair. Guys, this better frickin' work. How far back do I go? Move that stuff out of the way. Everything's clear. Oh, I think we're okay. Thank fuck. Oh my god. That literally could not have been any closer. Okay, I have to show you guys this. So, the foot and the hole. Look how close that is. There's the end of the foot here is literally like against, just clearing that rear wall. You see that? Holy cow. That is the closest fitment and biggest, luckiest moment of my life. Oh my god. Incredible. It's really hard to see because I can't hold the torch and that flat back at the same time. But that looks good. Nice. Better have a look from underneath. Looks like everything's gonna clear it. That's the lowest point there. Need to slide this all the way back. See where that comes to. Can't see anything. Oh, there goes the GoPro. It looks like we're lucky. Well, I'm lucky. You guys are. You guys don't have to worry about a thing. Yep, we're good. We are good. Holy shit balls. Right, I'm gonna leave it there. Can't be bothered getting the seat back out. And it's time for me to go home. Whew. Okay, the seat fits in. All that's left to do is connect the positive lead, the power lead of the amplifier up to the battery, hook up the RCAs to the stereo once that's installed, and tune it. And then the passenger seat will be the last thing I put back in because I'm just going to tune it with the seat out, obviously. Success! Whew. Yeah, cool. So, not tomorrow, but probably the day after, I'm going to be trying to install the stereo into the fitting kit and the dash, wiring it up to the camera, wiring it up to the headrest screen, the amplifier. Okay, that's me for today, guys. Thank you so much for all your support. Choose to be happy. Let me know how you thought my install looked in the comments. Did I already say thanks for watching? Thanks for watching, choose to be happy, and I will catch you tomorrow for the interesting steamer job. Kite Ano.